Hello everyone, greetings of the day. Dear authors and invited guests, welcome to the technical session 4C. Myself Prashi, and this session will be moderated by me. On behalf of the Global Knowledge Research Foundation and GR Scholastics LLP, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 10th International Congress on Information and Communication Technology, ICICT 2025, London, United Kingdom. The 10th edition of this conference is being organized in a hybrid mode. The physical event was held yesterday in London, United Kingdom, and the virtual event is being held through Zoom from 19th to 21st of February 2025. I hope you will enjoy the knowledgeable interaction sessions through the day. In this session, we'll have 6 presentations. Each presenter will be given 12 minutes for the presentation and 3 minutes for the question and answers. On the 10th minute, I will raise a gentle reminder. There is another request to all the participants that you all have to stay connected with us till the closing remarks. If you have any queries or update, then you can write it to me in the chat box. Just before we start the session, I would like to introduce you all to our session chairs. Our first session chair is Professor Cousteau Labia. Professor is a dedicated lecturer at the University of Johannesburg, South Africa, with a passion for cybersecurity and internet security. He teaches Informatics 1 Introduction to Algorithm Development in VB, Informatics 2 Internet Electronic Commerce and Network Information Security. Consistently working exploring new technologies, he is eager to expand his knowledge and engage with various aspects of computer science and software development to enhance learning and innovation. Sir, if you are along with us, I request you to kindly speak a few words if you would like to before we start the session.
Hi, welcome everyone. I am gracing you all the way from cloudy South Africa as it is right now. And yeah, look forward to the papers and chairing the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like you all to introduce to the next session chair, Dr. Nilesh Modi. Dr. Nilesh Modi is having a rich experience of around 17 years in academics and IT industry. Presently, he is working as professor and director, School of Computer Science, controller of examination, and NAAC coordinator at Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University, Ahmedabad. He is holding expertise on cybersecurity and certification on ethical hacking. So we welcome you to the session. Would you like to give us any remarks before we start the session, sir?
Yeah, thank you, Pranshi. Good morning, everyone. I'm very much thankful to the organizers of ICT 2025 for inviting me as a session chair. And it would be a great pleasure for me to review your papers, research papers, and other articles. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to start with our papers. Our first paper presenter is Reena Mahapatra Lenka, presenting a paper on the paper titled A Device for AI and Extended Reality for Futuristic Organization. If you are available with us, I request you to kindly take over with your presentation, please.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible? And good evening to everyone. So I'll start sharing. Is my PPT visible?
Yes, ma'am, your PPT is visible.
Okay, thank you so much. So today I would be presenting 2 papers actually. So this is the first one. So this is based on a system for performance measurement in higher education. So this is basically since I belong to education sector and I'm in higher education sector from India. So I have been like there are certain things which this research paper talks about. So it is related to the performance measurement analysis system. So because most of the time when we are faculties in higher education, so what happens is like not only in higher education, but in other sectors also, performance measurement becomes a little bit difficult and like how we would be analyzing is a little bit kind of a problem which every institute might be facing, because there is no, as such, like if you say there are no such standard rules, it depends on the institute and institutes. So in order to standardize that, this research paper is based on that. Now, when we are talking about the performance measurement, uh, being a faculty, there are certain things which a faculty does. Again, this depends on few factors as well. So as and when like we are proceeding with the paper, I would be giving you an entire idea like what I'm talking about. So in the performance, we are talking about the performance measurement system, as well as student details, attendance, marks, all these things has to be also considered. And certain kind of student records are also kept for the analysis part. So let me start with the introduction. So in the introduction, what I'm trying to talk is I'm giving a gist about the private schools as well. And also there are, this is a kind of a yardstick where performance measurement system can be measured. So here I'm not talking about international. This is related to India and the private sector investments. And here, how we are actually analyzing performance measurement. The study is all about that. Now, the background of the research is it depends on a comprehensive student data system, and the computer application will be designed and implemented to replace the current paper records. Now, since the world is talking about green methodology and all this, so in India and other parts of the in other parts of the world maybe. Uh, Many things are dependent on keeping a record on paper, right? So this creates a lot of problem for the environment as well, and this is kind of a wastage. So in order to overcome that, so like we need to keep all this record online, and this should be user friendly as well. Like when we need it, we can actually get the record at the click of the button. So based on this, this application has been created where everything would be online. And when a faculty wants, or when a student wants, or when an administrator wants, or placement wants, they can see the data. So this is the background of the research. So this is a kind of a system which has been developed by me. And here it has some things has been taken care of. Like we have used SQL, we have servers, and this can also be seen on servers and SQL. Here SQL has been used to develop this. Now, about the model, the system consists of three measures. We have outcome measure, process measure, and input measure, because in any kind of performance, input, output, and process is very, very important. Now, in the outcome measure of the institute, it has three components. One is high quality education, high quality research, and high quality admission process. Three things combined together would give you a kind of a measure which would actually be better for the students. So like when we're talking about high quality education, if the faculty is delivering good education, it results to high quality research as well, and students become much more enriched. And also when the students are enriched, they're getting a lot of placements. So in this way, the admission process is also increasing. Now, the institute's process measures are based on teaching methods, how the faculty is developing, like delivering, what all methods are used, because nowadays students, they get everything online. So it is very difficult for faculties to make it unique, because the more unique things we can teach, the students becomes much more interested. So unique teaching methods, they are important for any organization, any institute, or in part of the students as well, and administration as well. So how best we can keep a record of all the students and happening in the institutes. In the input measures of the institute can be effective through six components. One is the faculty utilization, how best we can utilize faculty in terms of conducting lectures, helping students in terms of research, projects, then live projects, and other things like maybe in competitions and all those stuff. So that is a all-round exposure for the students. Students start developing a lot how the course content has been developed by the faculty. So that makes a lot of difference. Then what are the latest technology we are using for lecture delivery? Then incoming student quality, then research facility and support staff quality. So these are the basic things which has been taken care by the model. Now the system also shows that the institute's performance can be magnified by properly utilizing input measure components, leading to a better institute branding. Now when a institute is having high quality faculties, admission is good, placement is good, and the output of the student in terms of like where they want to go, their career has become better. So this leads to a better institute branding. Now, here I have tried to explain what are the kind of performance measured for faculty. So performance measurement for faculty consists of three significant components. One is the teaching, research, and their contribution to a CSR, that is corporate social responsibility. The teaching component includes conducting lectures, online, offline, student guidance, study material development, examinations. They can become an examiner also, student mentorship, new course development, workshops, seminars, and conferences. The research component includes writing and publishing quality management research papers in national and international journals, editing research papers, reviewing research papers, paper presentation, national and international conferences, guiding students for research, book publication, etc. Corporate social responsibility includes helping in various NGO activities related to children, older people, animals, and training and counseling needy people, becoming a member of professional organization. This system will benefit the faculty member, and faculty member development relates again to the development of the student and increasing the performance. Now, in this system, I am also measuring the students as well, performance. So here, student, teachers, and administration can easily search the fine print of assignments, academic attendance, their marks, what all things they have done related to assignments, and then educational information, then projects, whatever they have done. All these things we can see from the performance measurement, and the student can also keep a track. We can also put certain kind of material, teaching material in that student performance system also. The students can keep a track and they can become much more better, right? Then there are 4 types of instructor characteristics. One is the college rating, test scores, degrees and courses and certificates. Based on this, we can give the marks, faculty can give the marks, and the performance measurement can be taken care of. Apart from that, the kind of activities, the kind of some kind of competitions and all these things, if they are taking part of, those things can be also introduced in this so that the students' performance can be measured. I've done a few literature review. There are quite a few here. I haven't put everything in that. What I have seen that, there are systems like what I have developed, but this totality is missing where like that all the 3 components like the faculty, the student, and administration, all these things are not at one place. So this, based on this gap, I have prepared this model. Now, the objective of this model is to provide the web interface for college students, faculty, etc., to implement the process to increase the efficiency of college and record management. So, efficiency of college college record has to be increased so that all the data can come in one place, and we can keep a track of what is the actually how the student's performance is all about, like how the student is doing. To provide a system that decreases the time required. The main thing is that we are decreasing the time because we are not keeping it as a kind of a physical copy, but it is an online one where you can, without wasting much time, you can search and you can get any of the records required. To resolve and use a system to decrease
Excuse
the
me,
time
ma'am.
spent. Yes.
This is just a gentle reminder, ma'am. We have
Yeah. I'll
surpassed the
wrap up.
10 minutes criteria. Thank you,
I'll
ma'am.
wrap up. So this is the proposed model. So here I have, like I said, I have given the few things. This is the system for measurement, performance measurement in higher education. So here I have student, I have faculty, I have research, I have administrative performance, and here this is the result, which is the output. This is the inquiry, and this is the like measurement. This is the measurement analysis. And this is the faculty general and students, what they're doing assignment, live project, corporate completion, summer internship, like, database student is maintained. In faculty information, we have lectures, resources, students, course, awards, and database of the faculty. In research, we have research papers, research project, chapters, books, then we have patent, case study, database. And this is the administration, which is keeping entire record. So this is there. And then, yeah, so description of the model, the input data, I put input faculty profile database, student database, and then research database and administrative database. So this is in faculty, we have faculty credentials, student performance and student database and faculty database and so on. And in case of faculty general profile information, I have put student performance data, faculty contribution like lectures, resource persons, research activities like faculty research engagement, administrative performance information. And this is the how the general result is being generated, and this is the result output where inquiry like related to the course and faculty and all these things student can do. Measurement analysis where the systematic evaluation of teaching effectiveness has been through COPO mapping and all these things has been done, and student engagement. Measurement decision like data-driven decision making to enhance academic strategies. All these things are done. And then the signification of the model is it improves institutional decision making, enhances faculty and student performance. It supports research and innovation. It facilitates administrative efficiency. And this is the conclusion. No doubt higher education is we need to improve the performance appraisal system, because based on that, so many things goes on. Students can select the institute, and faculty also is very much required where they can give good feedback, and school and faculty is also delivering better things. So depending on that, no doubt the branding of the institute is uh, developed, as well as student inflow becomes much more better, and the students can become much better individuals in the future. So this is the conclusion. So this system is very much effective to implement. If this system is implemented, we can get a good performance appraisal system in place, which can help institutes, which can help students, which can help everyone, and no doubt the country as well. So these are the references. Other references are also there. Thank you so much. Any questions, please? I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, hi, Dr. Reena.
Yeah, hi, sir.
Yeah, can you please explain, have you developed any application?
Yes, sir. This is a one which is being patented by me, and this has been implemented in my institute as well.
So what are the parameters that has been considered in the
Yeah,
application,
so
computer-based
in this,
application?
in this I've considered, like I said, sir, student is first thing, student, faculty, as well as I have taken care of the administration and administration part. Now, in students are like, it's a kind of a process where the day the students wants to come to the institute, they search on the internet, right? Like which institute would be better. Mine is an MBA institute, sir. So like they would be searching for the MBA institutes and all those. So first they uh, give certain kind of questions, like that is a kind of a query which we take care through SQL. So the system, like they start like which is the institute and the faculties and what all research has been done and what are the projects, what are the placements related, so many things. So once they are doing that, so they would be that is assisted by a chatbot which is giving an answer for that, and then they start selecting. And once they're coming to the institute, sir, so like the faculty start teaching them. So the evaluation and assignments and everything that is put there. So the students, if they are missing some classes or anything, they can check that and they can also further do that. And then the exam can also have a fair idea which student is performing better or no. And depending on that, placement also gets a kind of a hand on every student should be like sent for placements and all those. So this thing is there, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you,
it
sir.
from my side.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Reena. I just had one question, or rather, a follow-up to, can
Yes,
this
sir.
model also be used to readjust the faculty or the school's ideas on what the throughput is going to be? So
Right,
for
sir.
argument's sake, looking at how many students, student to lecturer ratio, and maybe
Right.
looking at the marks that the students have gotten before they were
Right,
placed,
right,
could it
right,
then be used to adjust what the expected
right,
throughput rate is going to be?
right. Sorry, the rate. I didn't get you, sir.
So I was asking if it can be used to interpret what type of throughput rate a certain module is going to get.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It can be done. It can be done. This I had developed for my institute. So here, like little bit of changes can be incorporated for global also, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. That's the only question
Thank you,
I
sir.
had.
Thank you. Good day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Again, we have your presentation.
Yeah, I know,
suppose
ma'am.
I'll
Just give me a second.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, ma'am would be presenting a paper titled "A Device for AI and Extended Reality for Futuristic Organization."
Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay. Thank you so much. So this is another device for AI and extended reality for futuristic organization. So this is the topic. And this research paper is all related to artificial intelligence and extended reality. This work together to change human experiences and capacities, enhancing immersive environments. The study conducts a thorough literature review to comprehend the AI XR synergies goal, and it emphasizes how AI may complement human labor and how XR can produce multiple dimensions experiences. So introduction is, again, this is based on my patent, sir, and the present invention relates to intelligent systems, specifically a device for AI and extended reality for futuristic organization. The framework might involve a picture catching a gadget to catch at least one picture, reading to a field of the perspective on a client of a head-mounted expanded reality. So with this, I'll proceed further. Okay. So this is basically related to the intelligent system, and this is again we are talking about AI, VR, and XR, which is actually a futuristic thing. And here we are trying to bring in like how they are helping us for developing a futuristic organization. Before that, I would like to show you the model which has been developed. Basically, the objectives of the study is to examine employees' AI, XR, and MR embedded onboarding experiences. Like we know, in any organization nowadays, not only nowadays, previously also, the more better the onboarding experience is, the more better it becomes better for the employees. They know what exactly they're expecting. And it is a kind of beneficial to the organization because employees understand, right? So in order to give a much, get a much better like employee to the organization, if you are giving much better onboarding experience, it becomes much better. In that, since AI, XR, and MR is what is the whatever we are talking about nowadays, so this can help us a lot in improving the onboarding experiences. Secondly, is to examine employees' engagement and behavioral responses towards AI, XR, and MR, like how employees are now, like many times it happens that employees, like there is a problem in employee engagement. So AI, XR, and MR can help in employee engagement, and that can actually increase the production in the organization. And also it will be helping the behavioral responses of the employees as well. Because if the employees' behavioral response is not that optimistic, then it creates a lot of problem for the organization, but AI, XR, and MR can help in that. This study focuses on how interactive AI, XR, and MR can promote MT engagement, promote employee engagement experience. So this is the proposed model which has been developed. I'll go to the, yeah. So this is the proposed model. This is figure 1 and figure 2. So this is a schematic view of augmented reality architecture. So this is the user, and this through interaction, like we have going for this augmented reality. And then here, this is an extended application of extended reality. So here, if you see, this is this XR, extended reality. So this can give you so many things. We can use this in entertainment. We can use for engineering, industries, then education and other sectors as well. So this is there. And so here, the first schematic illustrates the fundamental architecture of augmented reality. It emphasizes the interaction between the user and the system, where the user engages with the digital interface to interact, augment content. The system processes user input and overlays virtual elements onto the real world environment, enhancing the user's perception and experience. So in figure 2, that is the description of the model. Here I have the second schematic expands on extended reality. So extended reality is expanded to augmented reality, virtual reality, and MR. So the diagram illustrates multiple application domain. First is the entertainment. XR enhances user experiences in gaming, movies, and interactive media. Engineering, it aids in design, simulation, and training for engineers. Industrial and manufacturing, XR facilitates process automation, real-time mentoring, and digital twin application. Healthcare is XR and AR and all this. They're also helping in healthcare as well. So XR plays a role in medical training, retail, education, and military as well. Yeah, so in integration of AI and XR technology, it combines artificial intelligence with extended reality, including augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality. In recruitment and onboarding process, in the recruitment process, we are using AI-powered XR environments, like candidate assessment can be done, skill evaluation can be done. Employee onboarding, here we are giving a new hire experience with the virtual workplace tours, because many companies worldwide also this is there, where virtual tour can be done. And in this, AI XR MR is helping. Interactive training is also a part, and real-time collaboration can also be done. In automation of workplace enhancement, gamification and AI-powered chatbots, it enhances engagement through interactive learning through AI-driven. Virtual workplace tour can be done. Employees can explore remote and hybrid work environment using XR. Automated capability, AI-driven automation, improve decision-making workflow, obviously. Then in futuristic organization vision, when we are talking about futuristic organization, it like combines together AI enhanced XR integrated workplace with digital transformation optimizes productivity, engagement, and operational efficiency. So when you're talking about futuristic organization, productivity is very much required, then employee engagement is very much required, and operational efficiency is, it increases operational efficiency. For this, we need to have all this AI, XR, MR, VR. And the combination of AI, XR, and automation fosters a highly adapted, immersive, and intelligent work ecosystem. Okay, so this is a kind of a it's a combination of AI, XR, VR, where I wanted to give a kind of a 3D kind of an experience to the employees, so that they are engaged, and also we can also, it can be beneficial for the organization. And when we're talking about employee engagement, obviously there should be certain systems we can engage them. So through gamification, inclusion of chatbots, and these kind of things, we can increase the employee engagement. When the employees are engaged much better, performance can also increase, and this can lead to a much better futuristic organization, because nowadays AI, XR, VR, everyone is talking about that, and HR cannot be far behind. So, like employees being the backbone of the organization, all these things has to be there. And when we are giving them a kind of such a beautiful experience in terms of onboarding experiences and gaming and all those stuff, so employees become much more motivated, and their performance and everything becomes much more better. It creates a harmonious atmosphere where employees are satisfied, they're motivated, the career develops much better. And it can also can support pseudo sensors that offers a semantic segmentation and ground truth depth, opening up an infinite number of scenarios where employees can get challenging jobs and they can work much more better. So the mundane task can be overcome to a much better way. And this model is talking about that, where this is the proposed model. This is the figure 3, which I would like to share with you. So here I'm taking help of XR and trying to, yeah. So like I have talked so far, like by the help of XR. Okay. Yeah, so by integration of AI and XR technologies, I have created that so where gamification can be used, virtual workplace can be used, automated capability can be there, and this would be leading to futuristic organization vision. So I have gone through few literature reviews, but their combination of all these 3 things were not there. Few things were there, few things were not there. So based on that, I have tried to develop this model. And this is my patented one. So yeah. So any questions?
Yeah, hi, Dr. Reena.
Yeah. Let me stop sharing first, and then
Okay, so
yeah. Yes, sir.
so what do you think? Only these few parameters will suffice for onboarding an employee in an organization?
Sir, like whatever my limited knowledge is, I won't say that I am that much experienced, but yes, these things should be good enough, sir. Because when I'm talking about onboarding experience,
Our
sir,
concern is that there are different kind of organizations, different kind of
correct,
establishments.
correct,
Okay?
correct,
And each and every establishments, they have their own parameters and they have their own kind of employees and their requirements.
correct, correct, correct.
Okay. So whenever it comes to the domain related to finance company, okay, they have some other parameters, and the domain like IT companies, they have
Correct.
different parameters. Just like banking and insurance, they already have some different parameters.
Correct, correct.
So the satisfaction level of the employee, that totally depends on their domain and what exactly other competitive organizations are offering to an employee.
Correct.
So how
Now,
exactly
sir, yeah.
you are planning to means optimize the result or provide the better solution?
So like if you see, if it is a banking sector also, if you see it's a banking sector, so motivation and all these things are also less there, sir. I mean, like they are also been overburdened with tasks. They are like, if you see like the people who are opening, accounts, or people who are into, giving you knowledge regarding investment, or, if in portfolio management and all these things also, sometimes they also feel the burden of the task. Like every time, a customer is coming, every time they are doing this. So it could be a burdensome. But sometimes if they are given some free time where they can, play these games, or they can improve that further, how they can give much better advice to the clients. So this can help them in their performance as well, sir. So through this, no doubt it's an industry specific, you are rightly said, sir. But we can, this is a kind of a general thing, which for every sector we can customize it. So that way.
Yeah, got it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have any other questions from our session chairs?
Yes, not necessarily a question, but a comment, Dr. Rina. I think
Yes, sir.
in future developments of this work, it can also be used for, as you mentioned, onboarding, but training as well for different types of sectors. Instead of having, like, I can think about it from a construction point of view or something that needs hands-on
Yeah,
work. That
Yes,
way,
sir.
instead of having to send people out in the field, we can have these simulations, have them train on the simulation so that when they actually go out into the field, their level of confidence on being able to do the job would be higher than having to waste resources, sending them out in the field and potentially having them screw
Yes,
up
sir.
some of
Yes,
the
sir.
things.
Right, sir. Correct, sir. So that can be also added, sir. Good point, sir. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, sir.
Thank you for your presentations.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good day.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now
Yeah.
we'll call up our next presenter.
Yeah.
Our next presenter is Ing Bang T, presenting the paper on the title Evaluation of Prediction Model for Mobile Educational Games. If you are available with us, we request you to kindly take over with your presentation, please.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, sir.
Can you hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear
I
you.
try to share the screen.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Okay, I have about 15 or so slightly more slides, but I'll try to reiterate, mention the main points for this presentation so that I stick to the time. Okay, my name is Eng Bati. I'm actually a PhD student at James Cook University, and my partner is Dr. Insu Song. Okay, we are both lecturers in the university. So I've written a few papers, and this is one of the final paper. So I actually supposed to do a seminar soon for my PhD studies, the final seminar. Okay, so I'm from Singapore, so currently, so let me quickly proceed to the presentation. Okay, the topic of my presentation is the evaluation of prediction model for mobile educational games. So I will start with the introduction, then the background, the problem, methodology, results, and the conclusion. Okay, as you all know, at any time now, I think a lot of us have played mobile educational game, or as teacher, you have used mobile educational game. So mobile educational games currently is considered a tool to teach difficult concepts in interactive and engaging manner. And many research articles also have pinpointed potential of these games to improve learning outcome, right, through active participation and critical thinking. And in the last pandemic, I'm not sure you all know, it actually has been touted as a alternative learning platform. So the aim of my study In fact, this is considered a stage 2 study because this study on mobile educational games is very wide. So we divided into 3 stages. So in stage 1, I have already published a paper, but it's on game team. It's about game team, and we have a more prediction model to predict the team for a game. So therefore, the aim of this second stage study is to develop an AI model to do the prediction for evaluation score of a game type of a mobile educational game that we use to teach a subject lesson. All right, and then the model will also recommend the best game type for that particular lesson. And of course, this study, I will proceed to a stage 3 to evaluate the combined AI model. Why is it called combined? Because in stage 1, I did a game team prediction. In stage 2, I'm doing this game type prediction. So when we combine both of them, the model will predict the game team and game type for a game employed to teach a lesson. So the research question for stage 2 study is that we want to know what insights can we gather from the data we collected, right? Things like we may need to use descriptive statistics, ANOVA, and various tests to check what we can gather. And also in stage 3, when we carry out evaluation of AI model, we try to prove the hypothesis that the average score of all mobile games evaluations is above the average of 3.5. So let me dive a little bit to the background before we proceed. So as you all know, game type refers to description of gameplay. So things like action games, adventure game, puzzle, role-playing, and so on. And actually, learning content, when we teach certain learning content, is best taught using certain game types. And many researchers have already mentioned this point. For example, you may want to teach auditing through strategy, adventure games, and then legal content is best used reflex games. So the game genre or game type can actually affect student learning performance. So, and puzzle game is one of the game type that has highest effect on learning outcome. Okay. So game type also has been linked to learners' characteristic. Like for example, everybody have different learning styles, their personality, cognitive traits. So therefore, recommending games based on for learning based on game type could enhance learners' motivation, therefore leading to a better learning experience. So the current problem in this area is basically that there are very few research studies focusing on game type and how it affects overall learning. So for example, currently teachers or game designer, when they implement educational games, they're not really sure what game type to use if they want to teach, let's say, a geography lesson or mathematics. So therefore, it's important to know, as previous study have found, that game type does have a significant impact on learning outcome and experience. So the methodology for my stage 2 was the following. From stage 1, we actually have already created 250 games, and we actually select the 50 games with the best team. And we use a fixed game type, which is ordering game type. Then now in stage 2, we actually add 4 more different game types and then we actually these 4 different game types will bring us to 200 games, and with the 50, we therefore total we have 250 games in the whole set. So we use these to do our game evaluations. So we proceed to do data collection from Indonesia University undergraduates. All right, we get them to play the games. So each student will play 3 games, and then each game we have a score which we average out from the 3 games that a student play. So we collect the data, we do the data pre-processing, which is necessary for better results in the machine model. So we employ machine learning models. I employ a few traditional model, like the usual model like decision tree, random forest, neural network, and transformers even. And then I get the best model to help me predict the game evaluation score and also recommend the best game team. So for stage 3, I actually do a evaluation. So I created another 20 games. And these 20 games are based on different game types and theme. And I again proceed to collect data and do the analysis. And therefore, I have a combined model already, which is a game team and game type. So this model will be able to predict the game team and game type for a lesson. And from there, I check the evaluation score and the teams and game types. And actually, I then validate the result. So from the results, overall, we find that the mobile education games created, the participants have better than average learning experience. However, not too high percentage of participants have improved their game scores. So like we have 49.5% for game 1, 46.5% for game 2, and 51% for game 3. And the average learning experience score for game evaluations is a 4.83 plus minus 0.53 confidence value. So overall, it's still above the average of 3.5. So we have proven the hypothesis H1.
Excuse me, sir.
And
Just a gentle reminder for you that we have crossed the 10-minute criteria.
okay,
I request you to kindly wind up as soon as possible, sir.
yeah, okay. So the other important finding is that there's a significant difference in mean score between different game types used. And the other one is that we don't find any significant difference in the mean score when it's between different game teams. And the combined model actually predicted higher score than user evaluation score for about most of the games, and 9 games were predicted lower score than the user scores. But for 5 cases, the percentage change is less than 5%, which means they are very close, both the user and the model predicted scores. So in conclusion, I just want to point out that this is first in mobile educational game to employ using AI to auto-generate these mobile educational games with a suitable game team and type. So that will lead to better learning experience. And game type has significant effect on learning experience. Game team does not. But of course, the game team require further study. So in the future, I will try to use a bigger group, mixed group of participants. Also, I will try to use commercial game types and also move more detailed study on game teams. Thank you for your attention. I've completed the presentation and my references are shown here. If you want to let me know about certain things about educational games or you have any things for me, you can email me at bharti.eng@jcu.edu.au. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll just request our session chairs if they have any questions to sir.
No question from my side.
Okay, sir. Professor Lebia, sir, do we have any questions for sir?
No questions, just great. Thank you for the presentation. I think your work is quite interesting. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thanks.
you. Now
Thanks,
we'll call
everyone.
upon, thank you so much, sir. Now we'll call upon the next presenter. Our next presenter is Joyce Wongchinya, presenting their paper titled Generative AI for School Leaders. If you are available with us, I request you to kindly take over with your presentation, please. Ms. Joyce? If you are available with us, I request you to kindly take over with the presentation, please. Okay. Looks like she's not here right now, so we'll jump on to the next presenter. Our next presenter is Muhammad Hamzaoui, presenting their paper titled on identifying key factors influencing the cost of running microservices. So if you're available with us,
Hey
kindly
there, am I audible?
yes, sir, you're audible.
All right, great. Hi everyone. My name is Mohammed. I'm a senior developer at NSW Health, and we've recently submitted a paper with the title "Identifying the Key Factors Influencing the Cost of Running Microservices." Let me just share my screen. Just a second. All right, great. I just need to figure out how to do it. 1 second. I should be able to do that. Hold Shift key unknown. Just a second. There's something wrong with multiple windows. Just 1 second. There's something wrong with the sharing. 1 second. Oh boy.
So, are you present with us right now? Okay. So your mic is on mute. 1 second. I request you to kindly unmute yourself if possible.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. So is there any problem with presentation?
No,
Sharing?
it's all good. It's
Okay.
no, it's all good. It was just a small interruption. I'm going to share now.
Okay.
Just 1 second. All right. It should be all good now. Sharing keynotes and share. All good. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, so we can see the screen now.
All right, perfect. So sorry about the issue. It was a bit of an issue with sharing. Right. So I'm presenting this paper together with Dr. Erdogan, a friend of mine, also someone who I've been conducting research with for quite some time. And I'll jump into it. So microservices have become the preferred architectural style for building scalable applications. But the issue is that many industries have found out that they're quite costly to develop and run. And the main reason is a lot of the overheads that they introduce to the development and running processes. The fact that we have to develop them separately and deploy them separately, and also the requirement that they have for extensive monitoring cost the companies a fortune to run many of them. So we've realized that a good way to tackle the issue is identifying the main factors that can contribute in basically increasing the cost of running microservices. So this is what all this paper is about, identifying those factors. So the two questions that we are trying to answer in this research are, one, what are the primary basically costly components associated with running microservices in the cloud environment? The reason that we are focusing on the cloud environment is the fact that cloud is the primary environment for running microservices. It's quite rare that we run them in isolation on standalone servers. And the second question that we are trying to answer is that what architectural or operational strategies can be employed to optimize the cost of microservices in the cloud. So this paper is a continuation of another two papers that we've published previously. They were a systematic mapping review to find out the components associated with microservices, and there was also a taxonomy, kind of a taxonomy style paper that we've published to basically focus more on the systematic mapping that we've conducted. So we've identified a couple of factors with the help of literature reviews and the systematic mapping that we've conducted earlier. These four factors are: one, virtualization; two, the scaling methods; three, microservices architectures; and four, the API designs and the traffics. So I'll explain each of these factors in a lot more details. So virtualization, well, it's quite rare to run microservices on a standalone servers. And to be honest, it's not cost effective at all. I've been running and deploying them for a good maybe 7 or 8 years now. And it's quite rare that you run them without using some form of virtualization. And because of that, if you read most of the papers on microservices, Docker is the keyword that will pop up quite often. It is a technology that somehow resembles virtual machines, but it's a lot more lightweight, and because of that, it gained a lot of popularity. So for those of you who might not be familiar with Docker, it's a technology that basically runs on the application layer, and it shares the resources with the host system, something like virtual machines, but with some major differences. You can see the differences at that green image at the top. So basically, virtual machines are running on OS kernels and application layer, whereas Docker is just running an application layer. Now, when it comes to virtualization, there are three important factors, especially when we are talking about Docker files. One are Docker images, two are the container management, and three, the resource allocation and optimizations. And by focusing on these factors, we can minimize the resource consumption and, at the end of the day, the cost of running them. Why layers? Well, Dockers are built based on different layers. As you can see in the two images on the right side, one image on the right side and the one at the bottom, we have a base image, and then we have layers that we're building on top of it. And those are the layers that we define in the Docker file. So by carefully choosing those layers, we can significantly reduce the overall size of the images. So when in production, we are running tens or hundreds of containers, that little bit of a smaller image makes a significant difference in the overall size of the containers, and we can save a lot of costs in the storage. And when it comes to resource management, Dockers are using Linux C groups, and that allows us to limit how much resources they can consume. Quite often, Docker containers are not ran like as a single container on a server. Usually, there's a set of them, and we don't want one specific container to just consume all the resources. And also, we do not want to have a system that has a lot of idle CPU or RAM. So we want to tweak it in a way that we give each container enough resources, but we do not want to let them to consume everything. That's what we mean when we are talking about the container management. But also the resource allocation and optimization. Docker containers require extensive monitoring. Luckily, now there's a lot of them out there that can be utilized for monitoring the resource consumption by Docker containers. So the other factor that we found out can significantly affect the cost of running them are the scaling methods. I'm pretty sure most of you have heard of the vertical scaling and horizontal scaling, also known as a scaling up and a scaling out. Nowadays, most of the systems that we're working with are horizontally scaled, and that's because of the fact that these are large applications and running them vertically might not make much sense, but still, there are scenarios that vertical scaling can be the way to go, especially if you have a steady sort of resource consumption and it's quite predictable. So you can use vertical scaling. And by using that, you can save a lot of cost on services like load balancing or monitoring or networking and or networking sort of traffics. So what we're trying to say in here is that choosing the right strategy to scale can also significantly affect the overall cost of running them. The other factor that we found that can affect the cost is the architecture. So when we are talking about virtualization, we can implement them in multiple different ways. So one of it is a single service instance per host. So this is like when you're installing one application on one host. One is multiple of them on one host. One is service instance per VM. So you can have one host, multiple VMs, and then multiple containers, a single container in each VM. We can have service instance per container. Well, this is just like one bare bones system with many containers, and serverless. This is a very popular choice nowadays for those who are working with AWS services. Lambda functions are a good example of serverless computing. And each of them introduce some sort of capabilities that you can utilize, but they each have their own issues as well. Some are better because they offer you some level of isolation, like single service, for instance, but they're more expensive. Some are more cost efficient, but will have some sort of potential performance issues, like multiple services per host. And well, you can always use the serverless computing, but that one will have its own limitations in terms of the memory, in terms of booting up and all of that. So basically choosing the right architecture is quite crucial when it comes to maintaining the cost. And also API network costs. As we all know, the way that microservices communicate with each other are via API calls, but designing API calls also can significantly impact the number of packets that you send and receive using the network. We can have APIs that we call them chunky APIs and those that are chatty. The chatty ones are the ones that are sending a lot of metadata, a lot of extra information that are not required. It might be a small size packet, but assuming that you might send many of them per second, it will very quickly just add up, and that will significantly increase the costs of your networking costs. And also the number of API calls. So you can utilize technologies like caching to minimize the number of API calls. So that way you can save a lot on network calls. The regions in which you are deploying your APIs can also impact the cost that you basically need to pay at the end of the day. Some regions are more expensive than other regions. And also inner region
I'm
costs.
sorry to
Yep.
interrupt you. However, we have crossed the 10 minutes criteria. I just
Okay, I
request
have
you to
one more
kindly.
slide and I'm done.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, all right, thank you. So I think the overall conclusion that we are trying to draw in here is that there's no one size fits all solutions, but we are pretty sure, because we do have the experience of deploying microservices, that by having the knowledge that we've provided and by looking into those points, there's some of them that you can utilize when it comes to deploying your microservices. and it can significantly reduce the cost of running them. That's basically it for my presentation. Any questions? Any questions? Okay.
Yes, thank you very much, Mohammed, for your
Can you
talk.
please?
Just wanted to know, as far as the
Okay.
regions, because that's the one thing I had in mind to say, obviously it matters where you are deploying them. Have you looked at why some regions are more expensive than others? Is it like, is it based on legislation? Is it based on how tight the rules of the information's storage and transmission are concerned, or is it just basically based on the exchange rates?
Great question. So I can give you an example based on AWS, because that's like a big provider when it comes to internet services. They have different centers in different regions. They have Singapore regions. They have, if I'm not mistaken, they have a bunch of EU regions, and then they have the Australian ones. So of course, based on the cost of the area that they are running, they're charging you differently. But also, when you're deploying your APIs, they charge you differently when you're sending outbound calls and when you are having inbound calls. So you got to be careful. Usually for outbounds, I cannot quite remember. Outbounds are free, inbounds are charged, or it is the other way around. So you got to be careful what you're sending and what you're receiving. But yeah, mostly depending on where the servers are located, they're charging you based on that.
Yeah, I think on that, speaking about the call outs and call ins, I think I did look at something that says it depends on where you are also relative to where the data server is. So how long it's going to take to get there. My secondary question would be, have you looked at the dynamics of how when something needs to be profitable? Like for argument's sake, if you have Black Friday, when you instead of rolling up so many microservices or so many servers, some companies would just let the service die out because it doesn't make sense for them to have so many calls, and every single person that's making a call is not necessarily going to end up being a customer. So my question is, I'm curious to know if there's any sweet spot or sweet number to say at this point it is profitable enough and we no longer need to spawn up any more services.
That's again another interesting question. I haven't particularly worked on that because that goes back to like a business side decisions. This one was mostly on the basically running side of it. So it's a lot of a DevOps, dev tech kind of area that we've worked on. But I think at the end of the day, it depends on the business's profitability and their margin. So if they think it makes sense, they can run it. If they think it doesn't, I cannot quite answer that question because businesses are different one from the other one. So for instance, the health sector that I'm working in, they definitely can't do that. They have to be up and running all the time. It's a governmental section. So it's more than the factor of the cost is the factor of basically availability. It's health related, but for let's say e-commerce, maybe what you're saying makes sense. It definitely makes sense for them to just make sure that basically they make enough money to keep it running.
Yeah, okay, that's all for me. Once again, thank you for the wonderful presentation. I don't know if Prof Neshi has any questions.
No more question from my side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we'll come down to the last presentation for our session. Rachel Rue presenting a paper titled MOBMB for Multi-Objective Task Offloading Optimization in Flock Cloud Environment. If you are available with us, I request you to kindly take over with your presentation, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, great. So I will share my slide. Can you see my slide?
Yes, we can. It is visible.
Okay, great. So I'm Rachel Rue. I studied the monarch butterfly algorithm associated with the fog computing during my last years of master with the CY University. And I will present you the algorithm we developed called multi-objective binary monarch butterfly for the task of loading in fog cloud environment. So I will present you the fog cloud architecture, then the task of loading problem, what kind of algorithms are developed to solve the task of loading problem, what is our solution, how does our solution works, how do we test it, and what are our results, and then the conclusion. So the edge fog cloud architecture enable computing tasks to carried out from the device to the edge, which means directly on the device itself, or the tasks are carried out to the cloud, or more recently to the fog layers. The fog layers allow computation to be performed across multiple devices, such as gateways, switches, routers, or servers, reducing calculation time, the delay, and the processing cost. So the task offloading problem allows computational tasks to be allocated from the Internet of Things devices or industrial Internet of Things devices to the fog and cloud devices, while minimizing several quality of services. For our use case, we want to minimize the processing cost and the max span. There are also other quality of state issues such as latency, communication cost, and security, depending on the search carried out. For our research, we just focused on processing cost and delay. So here is related work. As you can see, there is a lot of paper that already exist with deterministic solution, machine learning, meta-heuristic, heuristic and game theory. But as most of the research focused on meta-heuristics, because deterministic programs take a long time to process and machine learning also take a long time to train, meta-heuristic make it possible to provide a Pareto front where each quality of services, each solution is a compromise between several optimized quality of services. So that's why there is a lot of paper on that. So here is our system models. So we want to minimize the delay. And to do that, we will use the length, which is the number of instructions of task ij, and also the CPU rate of each node. We also can compute the processing cost, which is the sum of this formula, which depend on the CPU usage cost per time unit, the memory usage cost per data unit, the bandwidth usage cost per data unit. So we want to minimize the total processing cost because, of course, there is a processing cost to each assignation from a task to a fog node or cloud node. And also we want to minimize the total delay, which is time spent most on a fog node. So I will describe our meta-heuristics. So this meta-heuristic is based on migratory behavior of monarchs. Now let's look at the flowchart. So initially we have a population of n monarch. Then we divide this population into two swarms, NP1 and NP2. Then for each monarch in NP1, we process the migration operator, which means that for each monarch in NP1, we have a uniform probability to exchange the monarch genome with another genome from the monarch in NP1, or we can exchange the genome of those 6 monarchs with another monarch genome from the total population. Okay. For each monarch in NP2, there is we apply the adjustment operator. So there is a uniform probability to exchange the genome of this monarch with another genome from another monarch in NP2, or we will exchange this genome with a special monarch. That special monarch is called the best monarch, and here is how to determine this special monarch. Well, so each monarch are sorted into different groups in different font. And the first font is group all monarch together, where each monarch in the first font is not dominated by any other monarchs. So the best monarch is inside this group. And if there are several monarchs in the first font, then we have 2 ways to determine it. Well, we can choose it randomly, and according to our contribution, we decided to choose the coding distance method. To use the coding distance in the first font, the monarch, we chose the monarch which is furthest removed from the other monarch, excluding the monarch that is at the edge of the font. So now we have done the migration operator and the adjustment operator. We select the n best monarch from NP1, NP2, and the population, and it will create a new population. And then we iterate this algorithm until a max iteration number. And then it will return our Pareto solutions. So here is an example of the migration operator and adjustment operator in our algorithm. So the monarch n is just a list where each task is the number of the cell of the list, and each fog node that is assigned to this task is a number inside the cell. And when we operate the migration operator or adjustment operator, we just change the fog node that is applied to the task, as you can see in the illustration. So we chose this test environment, which allow us to calculate 2 random tables where there are, when we can see what the processing cost is to calculate a task I on node J, and what the delay is to associate the task I on node J. And so this is a parameter we use to determine what will be the processing cost for one task on one fog node or one clone node. We allow 10 fog nodes and 3 clone nodes. And so here is our results. So the figure at the right show that our Pareto solution that are compromised between the cost and the delay. So our algorithm constructs a good repartition of Pareto solution. On the left, there is a convergence of minimum value for cost and delay around 200 iteration of the MOBMB. So this is therefore a fast convergence. And in fact, the coding distance allows specific solution to be explored where the algorithm, the randomness would explore less this solution. And we compare our algorithm with other results found in state-of-the-art algorithms that use the same parameters to create the cost and delay table for each allocation. So we compare the solution with other algorithms with the average of the minimum Pareto front solution for cost and time, and the average of 30 generated tests. So the other solution proposed by the other algorithm do not come with the front Pareto front, as we construct it. So our algorithm provide better minimization for these two quality of service, especially for large instance. And plus it has a Pareto front. We also compare two of our algorithm. As I said, there is two ways to determine the best monarch in adjustment operator. So we can either choose the best monarch randomly or using the coding distance. So the
Sorry to disturb
RMOBMB.
you, ma'am. We have
Yes.
crossed the limit of 10 minutes. I request you to kindly wind up as soon as possible.
Okay. It's my last after this, my last slide. So yeah, so the RMOBMB is when we use the random technique 100%, and the CDMOBMB is the coding distance used technique for 100%. So we can see that the coding distance technique is much better than the random technique for processing cost, and it's also better for delay. So to conclude, the MOBMB provide better results than state-of-the-art for large instance, and also generate close Pareto optimal solutions. The MOBMB based on coding distance outperforms the random MOBMB for very large instances. There are also some potential enhancement. We could incorporate an adapted Levy-Flight algorithm in place of the current random approach. Also, we could make a combination of random and coding distance technique within the same algorithm that could be explored. And we can modify also the coding distance to accept genome monarch located at the extremities of the Pareto front. So here's our references, and thank you for listening to me.
Our session chairs, I request you, sir, do we have any questions for ma'am?
I have no questions from my side. Thank you very much, Rachel, for your presentation.
No more question from my side.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much, ma'am. From this, we come to the end of the session. I sincerely thank our authors for their excellent presentation and contribution in this session, and all our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope that this session was informative enough. We, on behalf of the whole team, thank you for supporting us during this 10th version and all the previous 9 versions of this conference. We'll be happy to have you in the 11th version of this conference in 2026. All the presenters would be getting their digital certificates through email within the 2 working days. Further, all the papers have already been forwarded to the Springer. The publication will be live within 6 months. Kindly cooperate with the team of ICICT 2025. I would also like to thank our session chairs. I would like to present our token of present certificate from our side. Just a second. Allow me a moment. Professor Kostolabia, thank you so much, sir, for being a chair of our session. Do you have any final words for us, sir?
Yes, thank you very much for having me first and foremost. And then, yeah, it was an interesting session. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the in-person conference this year due to logistical reasons, but hopefully for next year, I will be available then and am willing to also contribute to the virtual session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We have our next certification for Professor Nilesh Modi. Thank you so much, sir, for being a part of this session. Would you like to make any closing remarks for our presenters today?
Yeah, it was a great session from different aspects of computer science and applications. And I'd like to congratulate all the presenters for their presentation of their research paper. And I'd like to thank the organizations for organizing committee for inviting me for this presentation.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your valuable presence, the both our session chairs. Now I request all of you all present in our session to kindly switch on your cameras just for the quick snapshot of our virtual session. All the presenters, I request you to kindly be available with your videos on so that we can take a quick snapshot. Thank you so much. Thank you. You all can proceed with the logging out this session. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you.